Wigan paid Wakefield Trinity £150,000 for him in the summer. Still waiting for the home side to emerge from the Headingley changing rooms. One or two of them changing their studs after running on the cricket field that is behind that stand on the left-hand side of your picture. That's where Leeds complete their preparations for big league fixtures here. And they've obviously tested the fact that the ground is a little bit soft, and perhaps it's a night for longer studs. Andy Platt is Auckland bound, but still has the respect of this Wigan team. And while Dean Bell continues to be absent, Platt is the man who leads Wigan on the field. But here's the welcome for Ellery Hanley and the Leeds side. Hanley, former Wigan captain, of course, up against his former club again tonight. He has never appeared on the winning side against Wigan since he left Central Park. As good a time as any tonight to alter that particular record. Great record of 189 tries in 204 appearances. A champion in every sense of the word at Central Park. And of course he led them to Challenge Cup glory as well. Is desperate to put one over his former club here tonight. An interested spectator, Inga the winger, Viaga Twigamala, has still of course to make his Wigan bow, but it's all part of the learning curve for the man who has come over from New Zealand, and alongside him is Martin Dermott. This is the Leeds side. Leeds have got Tate, Fallon, Iro, Cummins, Fawcett, Holroyd and Stevens. Quite a responsibility on the backs, and an even bigger responsibility for the forwards. Howard, Lowes, Rose, O'Neill, Ayres and Hanley. And the substitutes Marcus Vasilakopoulos and Neil Harman, who started against Warrington last week, but now finds himself on the bench. Kevin Iro, known as the Beast, the man who had such wonderful times at Wigan also. Two successive tries, rather, in the three successive Wembleys. Now then, the Wigan backs. Wright, Robinson, Mather, Connolly, Afire, Botica and Edwards. And up front, formidable is the word, Skerritt, Cassidy and company, and the substitutes Ian Gildart and Dennis Betts. Referee tonight, quite a responsibility on his shoulders too, Stuart Cummins, the 33-year-old from Widnes. So, we're in business in the Stones Bitter Championship here at Headingley. It's Leeds against Wigan. The match underway. The atmosphere boiling on the terraces, and I'm quite sure the atmosphere on the field boiling also.
If ever there was a night for the Leeds fans to really urge on their team, it is tonight. The pressure always on when you're taking on the champions Wigan.
The tall figure of Barry John Mather with the first run of the evening. What a run it is too, from deep in his own half to deep in the Leeds half. It was halted by the tackle of Alan Tate. Cassidy is the dummy half. Botica to Edwards. Edwards dabs the ball forward. Skerritt is hurrying after it. So too is Fallon, and Fallon drops on it and then is bundled over the line. What a run from the prop forward Skerritt. What a kick from Edwards.
And what a start from Wigan. We mentioned before the game that Wigan would want to get the ball out wide. It was a super break by the tall Barry John Mather. And we also mentioned that the kicking game would go towards the wingers, and that's what Edwards did.
Boos all round the ground for Martin Afire. Martin Afire wrapped up by Kevin Iro. Iro, one of the players mentioned in the press as a possible swap for Afire, because they've got Twigamala on their books at Wigan these days, and some people say that Wigan can't live with the two of them. 0-0, Cassidy in possession for Wigan. It's now with Botica. Botica gets through the challenge once, but can't get away from the second man in. It was Harvey Howard. Cassidy's there, Wigan 10 metres short of the line. And it's Howard again who brings him down with a bit of help from James Lowes, but Wigan are inching closer. Here's Nigel Wright, tried the drop goal. It was good chasing by the second row, Mike O'Neill, but it's 6 to go. Wright has it back.
And a good decision there from Stuart Cummings. Mike O'Neill made an attempt for that ball. That means it's back to 6.
This is tremendous early pressure from the champions. 2 minutes of total Wigan domination. That ball went backwards at the play of the ball. It's play on. Now with Botica. He was looking for Edwards. He found Cowie instead. Cowie dropped it. And the man who's been in such a rich vein of form makes the first blunder for Wigan.
A bad mistake there from Cowie, because he could see quite clearly Kevin Iro had come in from the centre. And I'm afraid Jim Fallon was left all at sea, all on his own to take on 3 players. The overlap was there, and that man spilled the ball.
Leeds then in possession for the first time with Mike O'Neill. The ball spilled out, but again it went backwards. Referee says play on. And that was the shape of Phil Clark, bringing down the scrum half, Gareth Stevens. Whoop! Here's Gary Rose. And there's going to be fireworks whenever Rose gets hold of it. And that was an elbow.
Get out of the way, though. But the elbow was protecting, and it wasn't above the shoulders. He went straight into Cowie on the shoulder.
I thought perhaps that Cowie raised an elbow too, Steve-O.
Well, when you get 2 guys like that coming at each other, it really was a charge against each. And he's there again, Gary Rose. He really does put fire. There we go there. It's no dead set shoulders to me. They both turned at the last minute. They knew that it was a big collision on course.
This is a big collision on course whenever Leeds and Wigan meet. And Leeds do look hungry for success. They're tackling like demons at the moment. They've got to be now, and that's a forward pass from Edwards to Clark.
Well, it amazes me how a referee can often see that. There he is, at least 15 metres way behind the play, but it was forward. Doesn't matter how much Sean Edwards shakes the head. The man in black with a whistle, he's the boss.
That was Holroyd, and this is the other youngster, Francis Cummins, only 17, the lead centre. Botica and Connolly bring him down. Now it's with Tate. Tate, the man who scored the opening try at Warrington last week, then the roof fell in on Leeds. Lowes. Gary Rose. Connolly went for him, came back, blanched as Rose ran at him, but stood up to the challenge well. Here's Stevens. Stevens with Edwards behind him. That's a great ball. Richie Ayres. Ankle tap by Botica. Hanley at dummy half. Ellery Hanley driving Leeds forward.
Great passage of play from Leeds there. But they were looking for the second runner, and he wasn't there to back up Mike O'Neill and Richie Ayres.
Great bomb from Holroyd. Wright has missed it. Ball bounces. Knock on is the decision.
Well, it was always going to be a big question mark, wasn't he? Nigel Wright only played in the number 1 shirt on a few occasions in his brief career in the professional ranks.
It was Nigel Wright's knock on. It's Leeds head and feed with Stevens. Hanley has the ball from the base of the scrum, and he was well watched in the end. Leeds are 3 metres short. Here's Stevens. Vital really that Leeds get themselves on the scoreboard here. Stevens was dragged to the floor by Cassidy. It's now with Lowes. Lowes watched by Phil Clark, gets the ball away to Holroyd. Long pass from Holroyd to Iro, who drops it. He had all the time in the world. And they say, forget about it, get on with it.
Lovely long pass from Holroyd, knew what was on. But you could see quite clearly that Kevin Iro, the big New Zealander, was looking towards the gap rather than accept the ball fully first. A lot of tension, a lot of pressure, and nerves do play their part in the opening minutes.
Referee Stuart Cummings has held up the clock because I think it's Mick Cassidy who has a bit of blood flowing from a nose injury already. It's rough and it's tough in the big league. And it comes no rougher, no tougher, and no bigger than this. Mick Cassidy, of course, Third choice, Hooker, with Martin Dermott and Martin Hall out. But he is a Great Britain under-21 international. And here's a New Zealand international. Here's another Great Britain international at under-21 level, Barry John Mather. Now a full international, Andrew Farrell. There are internationals all over this park. Skerrett. Met by O'Neill. Wrestled to the ground by Harvey Howard. Cassidy. Andy Platt. Did he hold on? He did not. It's play on with Stevens, who finds Tate.
He was forced into that mistake by the Leeds defence moving up quickly. Platt never took full control of it, and the defence hit him. Ball popped out. Stevens did the rest.
Here's Stevens now. His father, Gary Stevens, played 92 games for Wigan in the 80s. Lowe's to Holroyd to Iro. Kevin Iro. Leeds welcome him back. He finds Hanley. Hanley round the corner. Yes, gets it to Lowe's. Lowe's running straight at Wright. And Nigel Wright stands up to the challenge well. Leeds on a roll here. Stevens. Holroyd. Ayres is there. Good tackling from Connolly. 0-0. Just over 8 minutes gone. Fallon. Holroyd will hoist the bomb. Another tester for Nigel Wright. And he wasn't really put under pressure then.
Very confident take from Wright. Nice kick there from Graham Holroyd. Leeds really are getting it together. But they should be looking for that second phase of attack. They're making that break. But really, there's not one person in support at the vital time.
Andy Farrell ran straight at Ellery Hanley then. For an 18-year-old, the giant Wigan second rower is afraid of nobody. Cowie bounces off one. Harvey Howard was furious that he missed him first time. He made sure he got him second time. Edwards dabs the ball downfield. It was difficult on this greasy surface for Tate, so he allowed it to bounce and stop before he picked up, and then was wound up by Phil Clark. First touch in the big league this season for Vince Fawcett. He's coming off the wings, searching for the ball. That's good to see. Lowe's clapping his hands, finds Stevens. Quickly on to Holroyd, and Holroyd thought about the pass. It popped up and he held on. Good job he did. Here's Tate. Good run from Tate. Brings Lowe's into it. Lowe's over the halfway line. Closed down by Edwards and Cassidy. Last tackle for Leeds. Hanley, wondering where to put it, puts it into the arms in the end of Holroyd, who hoists a mighty bomb. No one fancies it on the Wigan side. Wright has it. Holroyd misses him. In the end, he's tackled by Cummins, but he'd made it into the field of play.
Oh, lovely little set there from Nigel Wright under a lot of pressure. Holroyd and Cummins, the defence coming at him very quick. Well, things are going to plan, aren't they? We said that Nigel Wright would have a busy day with the bombs, and it's been that way in the first 10 minutes.
John Doherty, though, quite confident in having Nigel Wright there. That's the possession in the opening 10 minutes. Leeds just shading it, but here comes Connolly. Last tackle this for Wigan. They're still deep in their own half. Botica almost taken by surprise with that. Fallon nearly had him. Botica will run it. Now he'll hack it downfield, and he's hurrying after it himself and finds touch. Well, Wigan got out of jail.
Good play, though, by Fallon in the first instance. Put a lot of pressure on him. But how cool was Botica then? Didn't just kick the ball straight away. Knew that there was no one in front of him. Advanced another 10 metres before he picked his spot. Excellent play.
So it's Leeds who have possession with Fallon. 0-0. Lowers the dummy half in the headgear. This is Kevin Iro. Of course, if Iro knows all about Wigan, Wigan know all about him. Now Mike O'Neill. Oldest man on the park, Mike O'Neill, 33 years old. Playing colleague of Dougie Lawton in the Widnes days.
Well, I just get the sneaky feeling that perhaps Wigan are very quick with this defence. They're not allowing Leeds much room, no latitude at all.
That's a thunderous good kick from Graham Holroyd. And it's not going to run dead. It spins back and Nigel Wright will have to run it out. That's good chasing from Leeds. And great kick from that young man.
Got a brains for the youngster. Really is going to be a star of the future. A lot of composure for such a youngster.
Here's Skerritt. Pumps the cheeks out. Pumps the legs up. He was interfered with as he played that ball, but it was a knock-on. I think the touch judge has signalled to the referee. This will be a scrum with the Leeds fee.
Well, Skerritt can't believe it. He just turned to the touch judge there. Was he interfered with there by Richie Ayres? He thought he was. Quite a lot of people, of course, critical of many teams, especially Wigan, playing the ball very quickly without actually getting their foot to it. You notice during the game they want to get on with it quickly and they roll the ball backwards. Not on every occasion do they touch it with a foot.
Here's Fawcett, big, strong winger. Hanley is the dummy half. Hanley's taking them on. Clark, the man who's filled his jersey at Wigan, stops him with a bit of help from Farrell and a bit of help from Edwards.
But where was that second phase of attack? You could see the Leeds skipper looking in vain for someone to run onto the ball.
The ball's come free. It's a knock-on. Lowe's went down. He's saying the ball was stolen. Cummings will have none of it.
Well, it appears quite clear to me that there was interference from one Sean Edwards. Went for the ball in the first instance, and then as was turning away, took his hand off it, went for the shoulder and the arm instead.
Got away with it though, didn't he?
They don't come any craftier than little halfbacks, do they?
Now Connolly for Wigan. Iro, Tate, Hanley bring him down. Remember, Leeds are trying to improve this awful record they have against Wigan here at Headingley. The handling error count is 4-2 in Wigan's favour, but the scoreline is all important. It's 0-0. Cassidy, a strong run. Edwards misses out Skerritt, finds Cowie instead. Last tackle, good defence from Leeds. They've kept Wigan in their own half of the field, and that wasn't the best kick from Edwards. It was straight down the throat of Alan Tate.
Certainly not in the tactics package, that one. Edwards wouldn't be too happy with it. Alan Tate has been in scintillating form for Leeds.
This is what he thought of it, Steve-O. He knew it was a baton. Hanley with the run, halted by Cowie, Connolly and company. Lowe's, Stevens, Holroyd, misses out Richie Ayres. Long pass, good ball too to Iro. Iro trying to step inside Mather, gets the ball away. And Cummings couldn't hang on to it. Neither could Robinson. But play on, says the referee. Wigan are in possession with Nigel Wright.
Well, the first support play was there, and you can't really blame the youngster Cummings. He was looking for that second phase again. It's just not there. They are really blowing their chances, Leeds. Their approach work is excellent, but their finishing is not on.
Farrell again in possession for Wigan, who are aiming for a 6th consecutive defeat of Leeds. Cassidy at dummy half. Edwards. Skerritt wants it. Skerritt gets it and takes Wigan to the halfway line. Clark, Edwards. Scampering, typical run from the Wigan and Great Britain halfback. The ball down forward for Robinson. Robinson, was he taken out? The referee says no. Tate wiped it up. Mather wheeled him in. It's a drop out under the sticks.
Excellent play though by Sean Edwards. Under a lot of pressure, good jinking run. The first time he's taken on the Leeds defence. Really attacked them. Knew there was no way through, and then little grubber kick into the corner. And when you've got men like Jason Robinson, he really is a speedy youngster. A lot of pressure there. Excellent play.
Leeds born, of course, Jason Robinson. The dropout up to the halfway line. Farrell will run it back. Makes 20 metres before he meets up with Mike O'Neill and James Lowes. Cassidy, now Andy Platt. Woof. Head down and straight into the chest of Hanley. Cassidy again, anxious to get on with it. This is Edwards. It's a big chance for Mike Cassidy. The number 9 going into dummy half. Dermot and Hall out for a long time with injuries. Good movement from Wigan. This is Skerritt with the strength. A fire is there waiting, but Skerritt couldn't get it away. That's how close Wigan are. It's 5 metres. Here's Cowie. Cowie with 4 tries this season. Here's Cassidy. Desperate defence from Leeds now. Last tackle. The ball is with Edwards. Edwards sees a gap, goes for it himself. The ball just runs dead and just beat Andy Platt, who cracked his head on the advertising hoardings.
As if the game isn't tough enough without this. Once again, a neat little kick there. And Platt comes sliding through into the thing. And Leeds have really bounced back.
And there's a bit of a scrap. So Edwards is involved, Hanley is there. And it's Andy Platt who's acting as peacemaker on Ellery Hanley. There's a real rumpus between those two, Edwards and Hanley. Hanley's having a discussion with Stuart Cummins. He's furious. And they're two very good friends off the field, Edwards and Hanley.
You don't take that into account in 80 minutes of rugby league football. Well, I see a little bit of a fracas. It's just at the end there. Not too happy, the lead skipper. Neither is Sean Edwards. Edwards thought that perhaps he'd been taken out. Well, they were just passing telephone numbers, perhaps.
So I'll see you in the bar after. Well, it's a shame because that detracted really from a Quicksilver Leeds attack, but here's now a Quicksilver Wigan attack with Mather. He has Robinson outside him. That's a great break from Mather. They say they're going to play Twigger-Marler in the centres. This big tall fella, he'll take some shifting.
They'll play him on the wing, don't worry.
The ball dabbed through from the play the ball, and Cummins has to simply hack it dead.
Well, good thinking once again. He wasn't marked correctly. Once you place the ball on the floor, you're allowed to kick it in any direction. Quick thinking by the Wigan winger, but also quick thinking by the youngster Francis Cummins too. Let's get out of here. A lot of pressure that Leeds really have sort of soaked up in the opening 19 minutes.
Here now, Martin Offiah. Boos all round this ground. They know what a danger he is, though. Scored 10 tries against Leeds. They will hate to be reminded of it constantly in that Premiership semi-final. This is Nigel Wright. We're midway through this first half. We await the first points. Andy Platt with the run. It's 0-0. Half chances, that's all to either side. This is Edwards. He finds Mather. Mather playing just his 8th match in the centre, the former back rower. Botica to Farrell. Good run from Farrell, the giant second row forward. Look at the size of the number 12. He's only 18. Connolly, Edwards. Long ball out wide here and they'll be in trouble, Leeds. Skerritt shrugs away from the challenge of Iro. It was the last tackle. It's the turnover.
Good strong run there by the Wigan prop, but an equally strong tackle from Kevin Iro. He really has put a lot of strength back into this Leeds defence.
Yes, Iro got him second chance there, didn't he? Skerritt wasn't going past him twice. Stevens disappears under the challenge of Andy Platt. This is Mike O'Neill, hauled down by Cassidy and Clark. Now Richie Ayres who slips. Last tackle. Good defensive stint this time from Leeds. From Wigan rather. Leeds still in their own 20-metre zone. That's a great kick to get out of trouble though from Holroyd. But it's straight to Martin Offiah. You don't kick direct to this fella. Hasn't got the penetration yet. Iro's down injured, by the way, there.
Clash of heads there. The big Kiwi centre, Iro, in a lot of pain. Went straight down.
That's a lovely ball from Edwards to Botica. Farrell is there, Wright's coming up in support too. It's back to Farrell. Was it forward? No. It's try Wigan. Andy Farrell, 18 years old, second row forward. He took that try like a three-quarter. He was up in support, and he had the pace and power to find the gap and go over.
It's all about brains, isn't it? Iro's out of the play. He's down having attention, but look at that superb pass. He brought in Mike O'Neill to him. Come to me, baby, and look at the inside running from Farrell. He's made this try. Botica, superb inside pass. Short pass from Edwards started it all, and that's how it finished. Super stuff. Look how he holds the ball, brings the man to him. Look at the gap there. Ellery Hanley is sliding out on that defence. The ball back inside. That is great football. Super stuff.
First blood then to the champions here at Headingley. They lead 4-0 courtesy of Andy Farrell's try. And from bang in front, Frano Botica should mark his return to this Wigan side with his 81st successful kick of this season. Didn't kick well last time we saw him on Sky against Warrington. Missed a few. But he hasn't missed that one. That's meat and drink to a man like Botica, and Wigan have a 6-point lead.
Sliding defence, Edwards brings in O'Neill. You can see that Ellery Hanley has gone too far. The gap is through, the rest. Read it in the papers. He's a classy player, that there is no doubt, Shaun Edwards. The creator on this occasion, so often in the past has been the finisher. One of the most lethal finishers in the game. And this guy certainly is making a mark on it, isn't he? 18 years of age, Andrew Farrell.
Change for Wigan. Andy Platt, who took a thump just a few moments ago when he crashed with the advertising hoardings, has come off. Dennis Betts has gone on. Meanwhile, sitting alongside me, one of the injured Leeds players, Gary Mercer. Up until that point, I think you were quite satisfied with the way things were going.
Yeah, the boys went really well, but they're not working from mark at the moment, and Wigan's making too many yards around the play the ball.
But it's certainly living up to expectations, fast and furious.
Very much so. Still another, 60, 70 minutes to go in the game, and I think the boys have still got it there if they just keep tackling the way they are.
But it's going to be full tilt all the way, isn't it?
Most definitely, and Wigan a good side, but we just got to tackle more close around the mark to play.
It's with Wigan again, and Edwards. Certainly Leeds are missing Gary Mercer in their pack. No one putting any pressure on Alan Tate for that bomb downfield by Edwards.
A little bit too far, but rather surprisingly, Edwards, after kicking, didn't rush down quickly. For those that don't understand the rules, if the man kicks from behind with his players in front, if he actually runs past all his players, then everyone is put onside. And he was a little bit slow off the mark there, Edwards.
This is Harvey Howard, gets the ball away neatly to Vinnie Fawcett. Fawcett, certainly a big, strong boy on the wing. Now it's with Gary Rose, big, strong boy down the middle. It's the last tackle for Leeds. It's with Holroyd inevitably. Another high kick from Holroyd. Tester for a fire, well wheeled in. He heard Iro coming up behind him. Fallon dumps a fire into touch.
Well, he took it well, but the attention of Fallon coming through swings him right away. Why trying to release it? This is all about the kick and chase game, and good play by Fallon. A little bit further on from that replay, a few words of wisdom came from Ellery Hanley to his fellow Great Britain star, Martin the Fire. A great deal of love lost when they're out there on the paddock.
Well, there was a story in one of the papers this week that the Leeds public had actually rung up this Headingley club and told Leeds not to sign Ofaya if he does ever become available on the transfer. Cummins with a lovely ball. Iro, try. Leeds have snapped back in the best possible fashion, and it all came about after Ofaya was flung into touch. From the scrum, Leeds found the space, and Iro against his former club.
It all goes back to the kick and chase game. They got into the position, Ofaya made the mistake, and superb play by Francis Cummins. But I suspect it was a shade forward. Nonetheless, the referee Stuart Cummins said it was okay. Look at this beautiful step in there by the youngster, 17 years of age, and the support play on this occasion was there, well taken by the big New Zealander. Excellent position by Cummins. He said it was okay, but it wasn't as good as the pass from his namesake Francis Cummins. Super pass to that man there.
Iro's first try in 6 matches. Holroyd jogging back because from bang in front, the teenage standoff half clips the ball over the top of the crossbar. Leeds are back in business. It's 6 points all. Six apiece in this battle royal, live from Headingley. Just the tonic that Leeds needed, Steve-O.
A super fight back. It was a kicking game that really put them on there. It was a wonderful kick downfield. And you've got to make them pay, haven't you? When Wigan make a mistake, which is very rare indeed, if you can post 6 points, then you're going to be in with the game.
And they're very much in the hunt for this. And it's Neil Harmon who is on for Leeds. Gary Rose, the man who replaced him in the side, has been given a breather by Doug Lawton. Neil Harmon, the former Warrington man. Skerrett and Hanley. Eyeball to eyeball at that play the ball. Holroyd with the kick downfield. Nigel Wright watches it, wheels it in. Harmon waits for him. Clunk. The movement just comes to an end.
Little doubt in my mind that Leeds are that wound up, that they're doing a lot of verbal to this Wigan side. That's the way to do it, really. Try to knock this Wigan's composure.
Rain streaming down here at Headingley as Andy Farrell takes up the challenge again for Wigan. Now Iro has got some strength, Hanley has got some strength. It took the two of them to bring that young man down. Edwards to Betts.
Oh, great defence from Leeds. You could see clearly that they're moving quickly out wide. They're forcing Wigan down the middle.
Skerrett gets the ball away to Mather. Mather's had 2 great diagonal runs. Here's another. Mather, all the way Mather. He should have passed. Wigan have thrown away the opportunity there, but they keep this movement going. Edwards clips the ball over the top. Farrell picks it up, gets the ball away to Connolly. Connolly out to Ofaya, and Ofaya scores. Now that should silence the critics. Ofaya, his 4th try in 4 matches. It was created by the wonderful crossfield kick from Sean Edwards.
Beautiful run there from the centre, Barry John Mather. This guy normally plays in the forwards, but he really has cut Leeds apart out wide. Quick play the ball. You can see he's trying to get up there. There's 3 Leeds players attending to him. Long ball out wide. The alleyway is closed, so let's get the kick across. It was superb. Taken by the big man Farrell. Connolly passed out wide, and I'm afraid there was no one at home. Iro was too late. The wingman Fallon had moved well and truly inside well before the pass, and this man doesn't need much room to score.
Martin Ofaya, it's his 16th try of the season. He is Wigan's leading scorer, the world's most expensive player at £440,000. A lot of people say he will be the world's most expensive misfit when Twiggamala finds his rugby league feet, but somehow I doubt it. Botica then with the conversion attempt. Ofaya reflecting on his try. This is a test of the mettle. Tight on the touchline. The Leeds crowd doing their best to put him off. It's got a chance. It's got every chance. What a goal kicker this fella is. 12-6.
The big kick over from Edwards. You can see how Fallon has come in from the wing. He's taking the attention. The move comes down there and the gap is all open. Back inside, and you can see that Fallon is on the ground, nowhere to be seen. And this man, as I said, doesn't need much room.
Botica with the extras then. It's 12-6 Wigan. And Leeds have to come back off the canvas again. Wigan with the best run of success in the big league. 9 straight wins. On course now to make it 10. 12-6 ahead. Leeds, though, all wound up for this, their biggest challenge.
Well, love him or hate him, Eddie, Shaun Edwards, the instigator for both the tries. A beautiful pass for the first one, and that lovely kick across the face of the goals for the second. He's a remarkable player. Incidentally, going for, I think at the weekend, his 30th winning medal in rugby league. Surely a record.
Yeah, it must be. He's a great player. This is Fawcett. Now James Lowes. Disappears under the challenge from Phil Clark. Harvey Howard gets the ball away to Lowes. Dennis Betts, only on a few moments, has got shoulder problems. He's having a word with Dave Fever, the Wigan physio. Meanwhile, Leeds continue the attack with Richie Ayres.
He ran straight to the touchline. That could spell disaster.
Platt's back on.
He's holding the shoulder, and when a man runs off straight away like that, it's a bad injury.
Well, that looked a high tackle to me from Skerritt on Stevens, but the referee said he hit the shoulder. Play on. Holroyd, another tester for this Wigan defence. Connolly has played full back in his time, and he took that with consummate ease.
Kept his eyes all the time on the football, knew he was under a lot of pressure. Excellent take.
Betts disappears to the treatment room. Platt comes out. Another high elbow in that challenge. Robinson with all the pace in the world. Just couldn't get away from Tate. That was a great tackle, but he's away second time. Stevens held on to his shorts, pulled him down. Wigan rolling forward again. Botica to Clark.
Wonderful last-ditch tackle from Alan Tate. Just caught the ankle of Robinson.
Edwards clipped the ball forward and then fell down like a sack of potatoes trying to milk the penalty. Cummins would have none of it.
It was far too long, was the kick. But he's always thinking, isn't he? Always trying to test the referees. This is a kick. There you could see that the second rower, Richie Ayres, he doesn't have to get out of the way. Both arms went up. Referee saw it, was not kidded on that occasion.
Mike O'Neill in possession for Leeds. He sat out the first 11 games of this season. He is Holroyd with the kick downfield again. That's been a feature of the Leeds play in this first half. They do have the wind at their backs, and it's quite a strong breeze too. But look at this try-saving tackle in the end from Stevens. Just held on to Jason Robinson's shorts, and you can't go anywhere without your shorts, Steve-O.
Wouldn't dream of it.
Botica at dummy half. Platt. That's good tackling by Harman.
Actually, the thought's making me sick.
That's almost a good pass from Skerrett. It was over the shoulder of Wright. So Leeds have the ball back with James Lowes.
It's important now that Leeds try to get a try just before the half-time break. It'll lift their spirits. They've got to take the gamble there, and you saw... Oh, Neil Cowie came in with a shoulder.
Huge possession has swung in favour of Wigan, and that was a high tackle on Fallon, and Lowes swings a punch at Botica.
You could say that the Leeds hooker James Lowes has a very short fuse, and we saw quite clearly there. Cowie coming over the top, already done one damage to the fullback Alan Tate with a great shoulder charge, was way over then. Botica didn't like it, he pushed him away, and James Lowes showed you quite clearly why he's playing rugby league and not in the boxing ring. Missed by a mile.
Cowie's been pulled out by Stuart Cummins. He wants a word, and he's saying keep the arms down, and he's penalised him for the high tackle.
Well, it looks like they're going for the goal.
Well, you heard the shout from the captain, Ellery Hanley, to Graham Holroyd. He's got the wind at his back, and that's why the decision's been taken, I fancy. It will cut the deficit if it sails over to 4 points. Hanley, the on-field general.
Well, the skipper quite confident that if perhaps the ball does miss the kick, this is the incident again, you'll see Cowie coming to the picture, well over the top. Quite fortunate perhaps that Stuart Cummins, the referee, didn't dig his hand into the pocket for a coloured card. Yellow, I would suggest.
Holroyd with the penalty. That's the 2 points. That's why Hanley told him to kick for goal from that penalty. And Ian Proctor points out that's the first penalty in 38 minutes. Says a lot for the discipline of these two sides.
Sure does. This was a beautiful connection, wasn't it? But getting back to that point I was making, if it had gone wide, Ellery Hanley feeling confident that the youngster there has enough power to make sure that he'd gone in dead. That would have meant, of course, a dropout from Wigan, and Leeds would have still taken possession.
Wigan restart. Let's get news off the benches with Bill.
We were talking before the game about the injury problem both sides have. Well, another one now for Wigan, because Dennis Betts, who's been out already this season through injury, we understand has broken his collarbone in that incident over on the far touchline, I think it was, when he went down in the tackle. So Betts now is added to that injury list.
Big blow for Dennis Betts, that. Just fighting his way back into the side after injury. The collarbone. Well, what will that be? A number of weeks. Leeds aren't debating that particular point as the rain hammers down here. Leeds want a try to take with them into the half-time dressing room. Hanley stands, will not go down without a fight. It's the last tackle. It's back with Holroyd. Dreadful conditions for these two sides here, but they're turning on a treat. The kick from Holroyd's too strong. That was good judgment in the end from Nigel Wright. Knew there was no pressure, watched it come out of the rain, bounced on the line and bounced dead.
Well, since the rain has arrived about 12-13 minutes ago, the wind has increased and it looks as though it's getting worse.
Mather is having a finger put back in. Dislocated a finger, did Barry John Mather. But Leeds have got some space to exploit here with Holroyd. Mather is out of the line. Can Leeds turn it to their advantage? Clark lying on.
That should be a penalty. That's a professional foul from Clark.
Richie Ayres with a great run. Hauled down by Cowie. Deep in stoppage time here. Leeds looking for the try. Hanley spills it.
Not the best pass. Went behind the lead skipper. But that should have been a penalty there. Phil Clark, a professional foul. He was on him for at least 3 full seconds.
Here's Cassidy. Yes, Phil Clark lucky to get away with that. Now Platt, shoulder to shoulder with Howard, and Howard swings him down. Andy Platt looks up, grins, and shakes his head. Connolly to a fire. It must have been forward, that. And it was. The referee from 35 yards away agrees.
Did have a little bit of help from about 5,000 fans underneath us, but it just was slightly forward. All spotted by Cummings, the referee. Well, the chances still keep coming in these vital last seconds of the first half. Leeds desperate to get points.
Will they here? Holroyd slides the ball through. The race is on. O'Fire's there. Tate's there. O'Fire's wheeled in. That's good defence from the winger.
He lost it.
They're saying he's lost it.
He did as well. It just came clear, and the impact, they've got away with it.
And Alan Tate is furious that he was allowed to get away with that, and now he was in just too quickly, making a strike for the ball. That's not allowed.
No, you cannot strike until it touches the ground. But Alan Tate appealing to the referee, saying that Martin O'Fire was dummying.
Cowie with the run for Wigan. What great form he's in, but what a great match we have here. Wigan have lost Dennis Betts with a cracked collarbone, but they have a half-time advantage of 12 points to 8. 2 tries to 1 in favour of the champions, one of them from Martin O'Fire. Graham Holroyd been driving Leeds on with the kicks downfield from standoff. Great game though, isn't it? Half-time here at Headingley. Leeds 8, Wigan 12. The match is up for winning in the next 40 minutes. And who will win it? Will it be Leeds or will it be Wigan? The stats from the first half. Look at the possession for Wigan, and that's the reason why they have made only 66 tackles to Leeds 90. 9 scrums, 6 to Leeds. Penalties only 2 in the match. That's a testimony to the discipline of these two sides. 13 handling errors. Wigan ahead on that count. This is one of the best grounds in rugby league, but either end is open to the elements, and on a night like this, you've got to bring your brolly, but you can't put it up during the course of the game. The rain is tippling down. Andrew Farrell, who scored the first try, the big second rower for Wigan. The academy captain. What a start of the future. The match was levelled by Kevin Iro with the Leeds try. Kevin Iro, formerly of Wigan, of course. And then into the fray stepped Martin O'Fire for the third try of this match, the second for Wigan, and that is why Wigan have a 12-8 half-time advantage. So 40 minutes of real excitement in the Stones Bit of Championship coming up. We're live from Headingley. Second half here is underway. A big 40 minutes for Leeds, a big 40 minutes for Wigan. If they win here tonight and maintain this half-time scoreline, they go back to the top of the Stones Bit of Championship table. Hanley with the early run. Tackled by Cowie and Skerrett. Lowe's clapping his hands. Leeds have looked keen. There's a lot of spirit now in this side. A lot of good young players coming through. And Doug Lawton believes that this team in blue is the side to take away the mantle of the Cherry and Whites. What say you, Steve-O?
Well, there's a long way to go, not only in this game. And that man, as you mentioned, he feels that it will be Leeds that will be the superpower throughout the 90s. Wigan, of course, in the early part of the 90s, certainly hold that mantle. But they've got plenty of work to do today. They're facing this very strong wind, and that is going to be the key for Wigan. They will use the kicks surely when they've got men like Edwards and Botica.
And runners like Barry John Mather, who gets away from Holroyd, who cuts inside Tate. Magnificent try, Mather. Absolutely brilliant. He has been doing that all night. Barry John Mather, the centre, who used to be a back rower, his 12th of the season.
Well, we were looking for the kick, weren't we? And I suspect that Leeds were perhaps doing the same thing. Super pass from Martin O'Fire. He'd come in from the left wing. But what a game this big, tall, long-striding centre Barry John Mather is having. That was superb play. He just went inside Alan Tate as though he wasn't there. He gives the impression he is not running fast, but when you've got long legs like that, it was a superb pass from Martin O'Fire. The man for many years who have finished off moves created that. But look at the dummy outside. Slippery conditions. Tate had overrun, and the man takes up 4. Superb game that centre is having.
Superb season for Barry John Mather. It just continues rolling along. And Frano Botica now can give Wigan a real stranglehold on this match right at the start of the second half. Botica from bang in front. It's 3 out of 3 for him. And Wigan have hit Leeds with a sucker punch at the start of this second 40.
Martin O'Fire, the creator. Look at the 2 Leeds players being sucked in. The gap is there. It's all about the little bits of skill, the little short pass. And when you've got skill like this on the rampage, the lovely dummy, you could see that Tate on slippery conditions had gone far too far across. No chance of getting to him.
Well, Jason Robinson and the man in possession now, Andrew Farrell, have been capped at full level by Great Britain. Farrell there loses it. How long, I wonder, will it be before Mather gets the chance at full international level? That was a mistake from Farrell, though, it must be said. We've hexed him again. Every time we give somebody praise, they do something silly. It's going to be Leeds head and feet at the scrum. But if Barry John Mather is under threat from Inga the winger, well, he is responding in the best possible fashion. Penalty at the scrum.
Offside. You are not allowed to peel away from the scrum until the ball has come clear. You can see Wigan. It's a planned move. They try to twist it. You could see Phil Clark sweeping it round, but Cowie had peeled off the scrum far too early.
Leeds need the try. Fallon wants it. That's good defence. That's the try line that Leeds are attacking. Oh, and they've surrendered the ball there. What's the referee's decision going to be? Penalty to Wigan.
Offside. You'll see Neil Harmon lost possession there, and the hooker James Lowes certainly didn't have time to hold an annual general meeting. Just popped straight into the arms of James Lowes. Reaction gave away the penalty, but should have been taken by the substitute Harmon then.
But Steve, what a time for Leeds to concede another try right at the start of this second half.
Yes, always come out with a killer punch, don't they, with Wigan when they first need it. But really, Leeds will be ruining the day that they have given away possession so early in the tackle count.
Cowie with the run. Stevens brings him down, helped out by Howard. Cassidy's there was no second marker. That's a great run from Cassidy from the dummy half position. Cummins, the man who had to bring him down. Robinson to Edwards. Edwards to Botica. Botica on wide to Nigel Wright. Nigel Wright's only try for Wigan came against Leeds in September. He's joined the line there. He's looking for more here tonight. Edwards hoists the bomb. That gets carried forward on the wind. Iroh's underneath it. Iroh makes a complete mess of it.
Was touched by the Wigan player Farrell there. Deemed to be forward on the last. Leeds will play the ball.
Hanley gets away from one but can't get away from Clark. But he still has some strength, doesn't he? Moves forward another 8 metres. Beat Leeds Player of the Year in '93. Howard to Mike O'Neill. Lowers at dummy half. Howard is the runner. Good support from Lowes. Good play from Howard. Botica's after him. Botica gets him. No, it's Cassidy, I beg his pardon. Leeds are certainly not out of this yet. But that wasn't the best kick forward in the world by Holroyd. Straight to Mather.
Well, whilst all that action was going on, Harvey Howard and Andy Platt, they really got stuck into each other. They shaped up. Fortunately, they did not throw punches. Oh, it's getting hot.
Robinson to Platt, to Skerrett. Cummins is there, and so too was Hanley to bring him down. Skerrett fell as he played that ball. Referee unimpressed. It's play on. Edwards, short ball to Farrell. Hit that ball at pace. Farrell stopped by Tate. That's a great tackle. That saved 4 points. Botica dummy half. Edwards. Cowie running. Cowie will not be stopped. He will now. Last tackle for Wigan. Ball down forward. Ball runs out, runs dead. Tap on the 20-metre mark.
Not the best option from Connolly there, a little bit too strong. Perhaps would have been better to try to get the ball high in these wet conditions. But we just saw a passage of play there. 2 delightful passes from Shaun Edwards.
Connolly struck for that ball, but illegally, says the referee. The ball looked as though it was on the ground.
Well, you can see that Connolly was going round the man. He was allowed to strike for it. It was okay in that department. The fact is, he went on the one side. See how he goes to the side now? Not allowed to do that.
8 minutes, second half gone. Connolly reflecting on that decision from Stuart Cummings. Referee just clearing the debris from the pitch. We will carry on now. Clock is ticking away. Harman grounded on the halfway line.
Well, it's at a time now at 18-8 that Leeds have to start trying to get the ball out wide and use the big fellow, the beast, Kevin Iro. Holroyd and Stevens have to start working to try to give their centres and their wingmen a chance.
You said, Steve-O, that Leeds would try and force Wigan down the middle. At the moment, Wigan are forcing Leeds down the centre, aren't they?
They're past masters at it.
That's a good dab forward, though, by Holroyd. Botica's there under pressure from Fawcett, and he slides behind his own try line. It'll be a drop out from under the sticks.
Super kick from the youngster Holroyd. You can see how slippy it is. Really is a star for the future. Certainly holding his own now with the big guys.
Great chase from Fawcett that produces this dropout by Wigan. It's pressure here for Leeds then now. Farrell has got some weight though. Watch the distance he gets on this dropout with the wind at his back. Oh, he doesn't hit it too cleanly, does he? Straight into the arms of Ayres. Taking on Robinson, Mather and Edwards there to close down the opportunity. Leeds want to get on with it. This is Cummins. Cummins running straight. Taking on Platt and Clark. Lowe's. Stevens. Holroyd and Stevens. Hanley. Wigan are watching Hanley like hawks. 10 minutes, second half gone. O'Neill. Good defence from Cassidy, that. Stevens. Holroyd. Ayres is the runner, so too is Tate. Tate has Cummins there, and Cummins is in under the sticks. That is exactly what Leeds wanted. And the young teenage Cummins slides in for his 5th in 5 games.
Take a bow. The towel is not going to be thrown in. The combination there of Stevens, Holroyd, the little delayed pass for Tate. But look at the positioning there from the centre, Francis Cummins. It is perfect. He does not try to take them straight. He runs the angle straight under those posts. It was a beautiful piece of play. See how Holroyd just holds up the pass there, uses the dummy runner. Tate throws the dummy, knows it's in, but wonderful thinking from Cummins. Oh, I love to see youngsters that can read the game so early in their career.
He is only 17 years old, but he showed all the coolness there of a veteran. And here's the veteran of 18. Holroyd clipping the ball over the top of the crossbar. Leeds are in business. Look at that scoreline, 18-14.
You can see they hold the man up there and 3 Wigan players come through and Tate is coming there. It's a beautiful piece of play from the youngster Graham Holroyd. then back inside, the position, the sense of the youngster Cummins. Look at that. Didn't want to take the short route, knew that the gap was there right underneath the black dot.
Steve-O, we've been talking all season, haven't we, about the young players that are emerging. Francis Cummins is one to watch for the future. He's only 17. Holroyd's 18. Stevens 19. On the other side, we've got the likes of Robinson, Wright, Mather, of course, Farrell. Great for the game, and Cassidy's only 20. Great to see these youngsters coming through and slugging it out with the biggest in the big league.
I have to agree with you there, but the one thing that really has pleased me is a Leeds side that have not given up hope. So often over the past 4 or 5 years, their heads have bowed down when a team has got 10, 12 points ahead, but not tonight. They really are showing some great spirit.
Referee has pointed to Vinnie Fawcett. He says, don't move in, you're offside. Now he waves, leads in. They have to allow Robinson 10 metres when the ball is kicked downfield before they close in for the tackle. It's at the referee's discretion. He waves the attacking players in. Now then, just look at this statistic. Leeds are having a ton of the ball in this second half. They'll be saying, if only we didn't take the sucker punch at the start of this second 40 minutes. Botica showed it to Mather, took it himself, Cummins with the tackle. He's having a wow over the game, the teenager. Youngest on the field. Edwards, another high crossfield kick. Iro's underneath it, takes it confidently. Fallon can't get away from the fire, gives it to Iro. Leads it down a blind alley at the moment. Lowe's to Tate. Good defence from Wigan. So quickly they move up once the ball has been played on the ground. Lowe's, good step, good run. Cassidy looked a bit high. Stuart Cummins was backing away from it, had a look, says play on.
Good play from the hooker, James Lowe's there. He could see Skerritt move off the mark quickly and the gap appeared.
Here's the danger man, it's Iro. That's a good tackle though from Nigel Wright. It's the last tackle. Hanley the dummy half. Stevens, Holroyd. Holroyd diagonal runs to the corner, clips the ball intelligently over the other way. Hanley's after it. Clark's after it. Clark gets it. Intelligent play from the 18-year-old standoff.
Scintillating stuff. This is a cracker.
Just what we wanted, just what we expected. And Leeds have risen to the challenge. And so have their supporters. They probably soaked to the skin on the terraces, but just listen to them. They're singing and they're 4 points down.
Well, it's amazing, only 4 points the difference. The rain, thankfully, has ceased to come down upon them.
That's a great tackle from Hanley on Skerritt as he reached that ball. Cassidy to Edwards. Edwards with the kick downfield. And that will eat up the clock. Edwards just calms things down.
Experience showing there. Shaun Edwards picked the spot perfectly. No one at home. You can see he's in no rush to get down into the Leeds quarter. He knows this has been a tough one.
And Gareth Stevens has vacated Headingley. So Marcus Vasilakopoulos has come on. And we talk about the great youngsters on show tonight. Doug Lawton reckons Vasilakopoulos is the best of the lot. But here's one of the old stages, Iro. Grounded by Neil Cowie.
He just couldn't get his body inside to get the ball to Cummins, who was screaming onto it. But there's little gaps appearing now in this usually strong Wigan defence.
Hanley will try and exploit those gaps. Stands in the tackle, gets it away to Lowe's. Wigan know that in a match here, John Doherty, the Wigan coach, knows he's in a match. Watching intently from the front row of the main stand. Watching as Howard takes on his defence. Watching as he's closed down by Cassidy. Last tackle for Leeds. It's with Holroyd. Holroyd again grubs the ball forward. It bounces off Clark. Chances here for Leeds. If Holroyd would have kept his feet, Leeds had chances.
Well, the crowd have gone berserk, but to be fair, there was no attempt to go for it. You can see that Phil Clark was turning his back away. If the ball plays the player, it is not nullified. If the player plays the ball, then it is back to 6. Despite what the crowd are saying, the referee, Stuart Cummings, is correct.
So 57.5 minutes gone of this titanic struggle at Headingley, and Cowie with the ball under his arm for Wigan. Cummings and Hanley, the men to bring him down. Loses it, Cowie, and he doesn't agree with that decision of the touch judge. Throws the ball away petulantly.
Well, there's a little stray, few fingers in there. But Cowie pleads to the touch judge with little success.
In soccer, Neil Cowie would now be in the referee's notebook. He'd have been yellow carded for that flash of temper. In the big league, it's part and parcel of the game.
Well, the gap's well and truly out appearing in this Wigan defence, and that has to be a penalty. That was well milked by Alan Tate.
Steve-O, Wigan are rattled.
That's what it was all about. Now you can see Tate move to one side. He moved away from the mark. He took the gamble. That's what that man is saying to the referee. Andy Platt, the Wigan skipper, saying, hang on. I stood in front for the mark and it was Tate that moved.
Well, it's Leeds now who really do have their tails up, and they're in possession again with Fallon. Former Bath and England V Rugby Union international with all the strength in the world. Here's another big strong lad, Neil Harmon. Leeds are desperate for the try. Lowe's, that's intelligent play. Richie Ayres, Kane hurtling onto that. Lowe's again, Vasilakopoulos, Holroyd, slips, gives it back. Now Cummings. Good defence, Wigan. They closed the youngsters down.
They had to. They were running them ragged. The changing of the pace, bringing men inside, switching of play. Now if Leeds have a move, this is where they should be using it.
Here's Holroyd, dabs it forward. Robinson's there, but that's great chasing by Ayres and Vasilakopoulos. They bring Robinson down behind his own try line. Drop out.
Look at the confident kick there from Graham Holroyd. This second half, he really has blossomed. Super play. He's getting better and better as the minutes tick by.
The jersey normally occupied by Gary Schofield. Schofield injured. Before he was injured, Schofield was in the centre. I wonder whether he will ever get that number 6 jersey back.
Well, you can't really take it away from the youngster. He really has shown so many skills and class tonight.
We're midway through this second half. That ball bounces off O'Neill's chest. It was a knock-on. O'Neill knows he's made the mistake.
The lack of concentration when the pressure is being applied, he knows it. The move was on. They were testing that Farrell's out there playing in the centres. All to waste.
Here's Connolly. Connolly, we hardly talk about him these days as a youngster. He's only 22. O'Fire gets the ball away in the tackle to Nigel Wright. 2 20-year-olds there for Wigan. Wright and Cassidy. Here's 18-year-old Farrell. It's great to see.
Well, it's an amazing gamble from the Wigan coach, John Doherty. He's asking Martin O'Fire to play in centre, not be on the wing. He's put Connolly out on the left wing. He knows that he needs something special.
Edwards to Botica. Botica to Connolly. Will Connolly provide it? Closed down by Fallon, and he lost the ball there. The pressure is getting to this Wigan team.
Trying to keep the ball alive to the youngster Connolly. But well taken care of by Jim Fallon. It really has been a superb effort in defence for Leeds.
Look at that handling error count, Steve-O. 11 from Wigan, 6 from Leeds.
Well, it's pretty wet. And under the conditions, that is a very good count indeed. But most of all those errors have come about because Leeds have been moving up quickly in defence.
It's a match that's up for the winning in the last 18 minutes, this. 18-14 in Wigan's favour. Lowe's the dummy half to Neil Harmon. Doug Lawton has spent big to strengthen his pack, and they are slugging it out with Wigan here tonight. And Gary Rose has returned. I wondered how long it would be before we saw the big fellow back off the bench. It pops up out of the arms of Ayres in the challenge. Edwards picks it up, and then Hanley wheels Edwards in. There's a lot of talking between Hanley and his former Wigan teammates.
Well, we talk about forced errors there. We saw the impact of the tackle. Skerritt involved, Platt. It's tough.
Here's Platt. Good run from Platt. Good tackling from Gary Rose. Cassidy, Skerritt gets the legs going. Takes on Holroyd and Cummins. Botica. Clark. Botica again. Cowie, it was forward. Referee disagrees. Play on. Botica, Edwards. Another scampering diagonal run. Connolly hits the ball at pace. Gets it away. Was he held back? Was he held back? He was. Nigel Wright, fourth at the try line, had appeared for him.
Gary Rose is a man that you will see make a dab for Nigel Wright. But it's a 50-51 to me. The big prop forward is only just returned to the fray a few moments ago. He can't believe it. This should be a gift for Frano Botica, virtually right in front.
Steve-O, it was a close one to call. I wonder whether Rose said, well, let them have 2 rather than 4, because there was gaps there for Wigan to exploit.
Well, there's a pretty quick thinker if that's what was going through his mind, but the fullback Nigel Wright chimed into the three-quarter line, well supported. At least we'll get the chance of an extra 2 points, and how vital that will be with only 4 points the difference.
Well, 100% from Botica and 100% on the night from Holroyd too, so the odds are in favour of Botica here. Similar angle and similar distance to the last minute kick he had to win the match against Warrington over the New Year holiday. He lived up to the pressure then. Will he live up to it again here tonight? Leeds fans doing their best to put him off, but he's cool as a cucumber, this fella. And he's deadly. The gap 6 points. 14-20. A try and a goal, that's all that stands between Leeds and glory.
But it forces Leeds into the pressure cooker situation. They no longer can just bide their time and perhaps win this game. That extra 2 points means that they can just hope for a draw if they keep that sort of attitude. They now have to start playing catch-up football, take the gambles, miss the men out, the long balls, the kicks into the corner, and hope for the mistake.
Botica collected that kick-off on the full, ran it out as far as Howard, Rose and Lowe's. 14 minutes to go. 6 points the difference. Wigan in possession with Farrell. It took 3 to bring him down. Cassidy. Good run, Cassidy up to halfway.
The surprising aspect of this Wigan display in the second half, well, a bad mistake. Skerritt knows it. What I was about to say was the surprising factor of Wigan's play They've got the wing behind them, and really they have not utilised the long kick downfield.
Vasilakopoulos for Leeds. Looked up, took Clark on, lost out in that little contest. Here's Holroyd. Cummins and Iro working the 1-2. Lovely ball in field from Cummins to Fallon. Fallon stands, gets it away to Iro. There are 4 in front of Iro, though. Well, if Wigan are watching Hanley, they're also watching Iro. Here's Gary Rose. Holroyd. Ayres. All the time, Leeds are being channeled down the middle. Hanley. Will he try and spread it out wide this time? But he gets away from Platt. Won't get away from Cassidy. Or Kelvin Skerrett.
This is where they've got to look for a little chip over the top. A dicey kick, perhaps, for that mistake.
There's the kick, it's diagonal. A fire's under it. Well taken by a fire. And Leeds just close in on the Wigan winger every time he gets the ball, don't they?
He's been pretty safe, hasn't he, Martin O'Fire? Oh! Ring the bells.
Howard on Cowie. Play on. Farrell. Cummins and Holroyd bring him down. It was shoulder to the wheel by Harvey Howard. Clark. Crunch time from Howard. They're warming to Harvey Howard on the Headingley terraces after those two.
He's been wound up all night.
Edwards. Another kick. That'll hang in the wind. Tate has to scamper. Tate has to hurry. Connolly has him. That's a great chase from Gary Connolly.
Well, for once, Wigan have utilised the kick, and the chasing was there. Super play by Connolly. And there you see the big prop forward, Kelvin Skerrett, doing his part.
Drop out from underneath the sticks, straight to a fire. The ball took an unkind bounce. He collects it on the halfway line. Tackled by Iro, no way through. Let's go downstairs. Martin Dermott is with Bill Arthur.
Martin, 6 points in it, but do you think you're home and dry yet?
Not by any chance. Leeds have just picked the defence up a little bit, and all we have to do is hold on to the ball for 6 tackles and get them in the pockets and keep them down there.
Have you been a bit nervous about this one? Because they really have fought fire with fire, haven't they, Leeds?
Yeah, they have. We knew it was in for a game as soon as we came up here. Their forwards are playing very well, and I think our forwards are just hanging in there. All we need to do now is step up a gear and hopefully get another point on the board, and that should kill them off. But the way they're tackling, it's going to be all the way to the final whistle.
Can't afford mistakes, can you, like that one?
Nah, just fundamental basic errors, they're just dropping the ball, and we can't afford to do that against El Rianli.
Last 10 minutes at Headingley. Harvey Howard is down and receiving treatment. He put in 3 mammoth power tackles, and he needs attention, and that's the reason why we have this hold-up in play, because prop forward Howard can't take his place in that Leeds front row.
Twisted his knee in the tackle. You can see him go right over, and the weight there of the hooker Mick Cassidy on it, that really hurts.
But Steve-O, that was the third of some tremendous tackles from Howard. He limps off, he gets a standing ovation, and quite right.
Rightly so. He has put his body on the line. We knew it was going to be tough. Not a game for the faint-hearted.
So Mike O'Neill retains. Vasilakopoulos trying to find Tate, has given it to Edwards. Try Edwards, the poacher supreme. He read that perfectly. He might have read the script from Marcus Vasilakopoulos. He was waiting for it, and Vasilakopoulos obliged.
The lead scrum half, Vasilakopoulos there, and you can see the man. He reads it superbly. The ball had come out. He knew that Tate was going to run on the blind side. So that meant that the pass was going to go blind. They tell you at these training clinics for skills, one should never pass the ball with your back to the opposition, and this is the reason why. Well read by Shaun Edwards. Such a key man. When the pressure is on, you need something different. He's the man that provides.
Shaun Edwards has scored tries now in each of Wigan's last 3 visits to Headingley. 2 previously have been victorious. And Vasilakopoulos knows that he's made the blunder that could cost Leeds a priceless 2 points. Botica 4 out of 4, 100%. 5 goals in this fixture last season. If he kicks this, he equals that tally. Wigan heading to the top of the table then, if they hang on to this scoreline here. And the 100% man maintains his record. Botica's 5 from 5. Wigan 26-14. It's slipping away from Leeds.
Edwards can see Tate has decided to run on the blind. The pass is going to come blind. There it is. Back to the opposition. The result is 4 points. The experience, so many years. Shaun Edwards has supplied the killer punch yet again.
Brilliant opportunism from the Wigan scrum half. Ian Gildart has come on, and it's Neil Cowie who has gone off. Gildart back after missing the last 8. Former under-21 international Gildart, there he is in possession for Wigan. Fresh legs for the last 6.5 minutes or so. Platt. Marauding run from Platt. Edwards. Good kick. Arrowed that to the corner. Knows he's got a 12-point lead. Knows that will eat up the clock a little more.
It's amazing, the little general just takes control. Pulls out something superb when needed, and now he will start taking charge.
There's a very sad-looking Dennis Betts with his collarbone broken. Only watching on as Wigan climb back to the top of the table. 26-14, just over 5 minutes to go. But so much heart, so much spirit, so much fight from this Leeds side. That little mistake, well, that major mistake from Vasilakopoulos, only 17, and it could well have signalled another Wigan win here.
Well, it was a gamble that we talked about. Leeds were in that position. They had to do something different. It didn't pay off, but let's not take anything away from Shaun Edwards. Reading the play, the experience coming through. And as you say, Leeds, it's been a great performance. Even though they've lost this game, there's no chance they can get back into it in the remaining 4 or 5 minutes. But really, I'm sure their coach, Doug Lawton, will be quite happy with the defensive effort, at least.
Yeah, it's been a great effort, hasn't it? He is a fire. Doug Lawton will be disappointed, but one of his youngsters, and there are many of them here at Headingley for the future, but one of them with the pass on the blind side. Sad night for Vasilakopoulos. But lots to savour, lots of encouragement for Leeds from this. And of course the message to the rest is Wigan back on top. Still the team to beat. Connolly. Still Connolly. Looking for support. It arrives eventually from Clark. It arrives now from Platt. Over the top, Mather. He's 6'5". He was just an inch or two too short for that. This is Robinson.
That should be back to one, surely. Vasilakopoulos touched that ball. A long ball from Platt out wide. It's missed by the referee, though.
Edwards with a little dink over the top. Nigel Wright is there. So too was Iro.
He's such a master, isn't he? Love him or hate him, the skills of this man never cease to amaze me.
His contract's up at the end of this season, Steve-O. There's a lot of talk about who goes where, and Auckland and the Winfield Cup and everything else. Wigan, I think, will try and open negotiations with him pretty quickly. And on the evidence of the matches we've seen on Sky this season, they might try and break the bank to keep him.
It's going to be interesting. Of course, Sean Edwards, when he went out to play with Balmain, didn't have a happy time there. Played a lot reserves and on the bench. Never really showed his skill out in Australia. It wouldn't surprise me if Edwards wants to go out there and prove them wrong and produce football that he's shown tonight.
Yes, he's had a taste of the Australian action, a substitute in the grand final for Balmain, but the number 7, the general of this Wigan side, the man who makes them tick, back to Botica. Botica thought about a drop goal. Weavy little run from the standoff. Just over 2 minutes to go. Penalty because the ball was not properly played by Botica.
Well, Stuart Cummings, the referee, has finally seen one. The players so keen to get on with the game. It's so important. There you can see 2 players on the floor. Well, he seemed to have touched it that time for me.
Yes, he did. Maybe he's not happy the fact that he played the ball with the foot from a horizontal position. He wasn't happy anyway.
Well, the action was from the referee. The signal was quite clear. He failed to touch it with his foot. The replay showed he did.
Low penalty count. Just 8. Leeds have had 5 of them. Minute and a half to go. Wigan are back on top of the Stones Bit Championship tonight. On Sunday, will they stay there? Because we have St Helens against Warrington for you. Sunday at 7, the whole match. Vasilakopoulos gets that pass away to Tate. And Tate dropped it under pressure from Gildart. Robinson picks it up. Flaps at Botica, says get out the way. Cummins comes in over the top, high.
Was it ever? Strong run from Robinson, steps inside and crack.
It wasn't Cummins, it was Richie Ayres.
The right arm. Forwards have a tendency to know that they can be beaten by quick 3/4, especially wingmen with the pace of Jason Robinson. It was a reaction from the second rower, Richie Ayres.
Whisper it quietly. Richie Ayres was sent off at Wembley the last time he faced Wigan. But only quietly.
Was that quiet enough?
Yes.
You've got to hand it to this Wigan side though, Eddie. They keep grinding away, don't they? Leeds had so much possession for the first sector of the second half, and their defence still held out, conceded that just one try, and they bounced back and show their class, albeit individual at times, but they always seem to produce it.
This is Andy Platt. Wigan finishing on the attack. We're 33 seconds into stoppage time. Cassidy to Edwards. Oh, a mistake. Sean Edwards.
Took his eyes off the football, more interested in what he was about to do with it. A simple basic error.
Vince Fawcett for Leeds. Vasilakopoulos at dummy half. Holroyd spreading the play out wide. Cummins to Iro. Back to Cummins. On to Rose. Oh, credit to Leeds. They're not packing this one in yet.
No, both sides have played with a lot of spirit. It's been tough and it's been rough. But 2 youngsters out there There was one of them just making a mistake, but there's been two youngsters that really have impressed me against this strong Wigan side, and I'm sure they'll remember it. Graham Holroyd and the youngster Francis Cummins. They've shown their wares tonight.
So has this fella Mather. Edwards to Skerrett. Clark to Edwards. To Platt. On the 20-metre mark, did he drop it? And Alan Tate told the referee Cummins that Andy Platt had dropped that.
Well, a lot of fans feel that referees, the merry whistleblowers, do need a little bit of a help. Hilary Hanley was also talking a few words of wisdom. Either way, the scrums goes down. Been a very tough encounter. Both sides will be very tired. It's been heavy conditions throughout.
Yes, it has. It's been rough, it's been tough as we predicted it would be, but the penalty count is tremendous to both sides. Just 9 in the entire match, and 9 is the final statistic in terms of penalties. But the statistic that matters is that Wigan have won by 26 points to 14, and it's Wigan who go back to the top of the big league table. Shaun Edwards, the architect of this excellent win here at Headingley, and poor old Marcus Vasilakopoulos will remember forever that pass that surrendered possession to Shaun Edwards.